As Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, grapples with internal divisions and a wave of defections, there is a mounting push for former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi to return to the PDP fold. This development comes as the PDP seeks to consolidate its strength ahead of the 2027 general elections. Obi, who departed the PDP in 2022 to contest the 2023 presidential election under the Labour Party, has recently engaged in discussions with key PDP figures. Meanwhile, the PDP is currently facing significant internal challenges marked by factional disputes and leadership tussles. The party is particularly undermined by a series of defections, with over 300 members reportedly joining the APC between February 2024 and February 2025. As the 2027 election approaches, the PDP faces the dual challenge of resolving its internal crisis and presenting a united front and candidates to the electorate. Well, joining us now for a chat on the growing call for Peter Obi to return to the PDP and the festering crisis in the party is former Ogun State PDP Governorship Aspirant Segun Sowunmi. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
It's nice to be with you, ladies. How are you all?
Fine, thank you. So, Mr. Sowunmi, let's get right into it. What are the potential benefits and drawbacks of Obi's return to the PDP, and how do you think it will affect the party's internal dynamics and external relationships?
Very good question. First things first. With due respect, Peter is at liberty to do whatever he thinks is in his best interest, before we get the impression that anybody is forcing him or pushing him or dragging him or pulling him. No. What are the potential advantage first for Peter before I then go to the potential advantage for PDP? Because that party, People's Democratic Party of Nigeria, in my opinion, owes a southeastern debt. Sir Alex Ekweme, one of the drivers and the founders of this party, dragged the Igbos into that party. He tried to be president in 1999. He came short in the primary, but notwithstanding that, the Igbos have been very, very passionate, very consistent with the party. If you look at our numbers in the seasons when we used to win, between 1999 until 2015, including the 2015 and 2019, our biggest numbers came from them. And if you are part of those who believe that the pendulum, when it goes to the north for 8 years, must swing to the south for 8 years, then you have to ask, if the PDP is to go south, where is the equity for them? I hold a very strong view that that equity is in the southeast. Now, for Peter to be able to cash onto that equity, what does Peter bring to the table and what will Peter be earning? On the table is that with very little effort, he will bring in the southeast, he will bring in a lot of the numbers in the south side, never mind the fact that governors are jumping up and down. He will bring in the Christian north, and he will bring in every middle, fair-minded Nigeria that is looking for a different type of country. That's what Peter will bring for PDP. And what will Peter get from PDP? He will be getting, however he even may be lazy with his campaign, he'll be getting a grassroots party that understands that you can't go to election without having, what they call, there's one word I'm looking for, skip me now. Those people that agents in every polling unit, you will get that. At the worst outing of PDP, the smallest number we ever got was the one that was allocated in 2023, which is 6.9. Before then, we would always bring in a respectable 12-point-something million, sometimes 12-point-something, and sometimes as high as 22-point-something million. So if Peter thinks that that energy is good for him, it's for him to take that decision. If he doesn't believe that, he's at liberties to go and start struggling positions with people who think that he's a schoolboy who must be invited to come and be number 2, never mind the fact that there's no reason why he should not desire number 1. If Nnamdi Azikiwe was alive today, what would he have said to Peter? He would have said, and I dare guess to Peter that, look, Peter, you have gotten back some political respect for us in Igbo land. Under no circumstance must, if they can, your message, they cannot respect your drive, they cannot respect your passion, then let them go and cast that boat and throw it in the Atlantic Ocean for you. That's Peter's business. Now, for the PDP itself, because the party is not doing too badly at the base, they don't have much problem at the grassroots. They don't have much problem at the states. They don't have much problem at the zones.
Well,
in fact, I dare say they have only but
just for the sake of time.
Oh, yeah,
and also on the same
interrupt.
Since we are talking about the PDP now, and the plot is thickening, what lessons do you think that the PDP have learned since the last elections and Peter Obi's departure? And the significant impact he had under Labour Party and, of course, the obedience which he will most certainly be bringing along with him if he does join the PDP.
Just before just after the primaries that produced the president, the ticket in the hands of His Excellency, the last candidate, they had called a meeting of some of the stakeholders. And I had been brave enough to stand up in their midst to say, dear beloved PDP, you cannot have a Peter Obi problem, have a Wike challenge at the same time. You are not going to make it. Unfortunately, his words are words. But if only they know the amount of research that goes into thinking before you can offer them words. Did we make it? In the middle of that campaign, let me share this with you for the purpose of experience. When the campaign was going on and everybody was settled, and our rivals, the APC, started introducing the concept of placeholder, I ran to his alive, Mimiko, and asked that they should please get Peter back into the room with me. Myself, Mimiko, and Peter, and I begged Peter, I said, Peter, now you have gotten to the point where nobody can ignore you. Why don't you let us go back to the PDP and make you the vice president and use Okonwa for a placeholder, because it's not going to bring anything to the table anyway. Peter was a little bit willing and, a little bit undecided. I reported it back to the PDP that at this material point in time, do what our rivals have done. Use Okonwa as placeholder and get Peter back. I called the civil society leaders. I said, okay, what do I need to do? They told me, fund a meeting. If you fund that meeting, we'll do a communique, blah, blah, blah. They didn't listen. Did we win? Okay, we didn't win. What lessons have we learned? Very simple lesson. The political parties on their own can no longer insist that people are just going to vote for you because you are shouting your slogan. The nation and the electorate and younger people are now looking for a different type of leader. I'm not saying that Peter can do it all by himself without help, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying that others cannot win, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that if the energy that is driving conversation is anything to go by, they should just beg him back and they should stop playing games. And we can then solve the southeastern debt we have. And I believe that the PDP must have learned a serious lesson, which is that you can't undermine the gist that has been giving you the most numbers. The only time we struggled was when the Igbos were not backing us. Every time the Igbos had backed us, we didn't struggle. Look at our numbers in Kano. Look at our numbers in the last election in Lagos. Look at our numbers even in Delta, where Okonwa comes from. Look at our numbers in the whole of the South-South. Look at our numbers in the North Central. Look at our numbers in Abuja. Well, tomorrow is 29th, and I will take a new position as to what my politics will look like going forward. But my desire is that let us even have competitive parties so that the ideological underpinnings that would drive conversation can be top-notch. But hey, I have a right to choose whether I want to be president and even contest and challenge President Bola Tinubu if I want. So it is also everybody's right to be doing whatever they want. Whatever they do that they are calling coalition, as far as I'm concerned, is forum shopping, looking for a platform to activate their ambition. They are entitled to it. They are entitled to it.
Mr. Segun Sowunmi. Now, let's talk about the PDP's NEC meeting. What were the key outcomes and how do they address the party's festering crisis?
With due respect to my party, the PDP, you know, there's a principle called you can't build something on nothing. And they're going to find out that in the recent sense of the word, they didn't have a NEC, they had a stakeholder meeting. Because for you to have a legitimate NEC, you will first of all have to put a legitimate notice of that NEC to INEC. And that legitimate notice of NEC must be signed by whoever is the publicity secretary and the chairman now in acting. If you did not inform, oh God, INEC of a legitimate NEC, every decision you have there is stakeholder. It's part of the reason why you saw that they couldn't even take any serious decision. They couldn't say yes, they couldn't say no, they couldn't be truthful, they couldn't even be strategic. But hey, it's not bad. The things that we are struggling with, every big party will struggle with it. The APC is still at its infancy. They've just achieved one president and another one in his second year. By the time they achieve about 16 years, they will learn to know that it is not very easy to manage selfish politicians of the Nigerian type of, men. Our people are just damn too selfish. I think the PDP must understand and understand good. They must accept that you can't disobey the law. You can't disobey your constitution. You can't disobey the courts. You can't disobey the Supreme Court. You can do it, believing that you are smart, but I hope that by the time they find out that all of this is all rubbish, it will not be too late. And let me remind them, Zamfara, when we were going to win with now the Minister of State for Defense, Matawale, we only won Zamfara because they said all their votes was cancelled. Let me also remind them that when Yusuf-Wike, now Minister of FCT, was coming in 2019 for a second term, it was an easy ride for us because all of the primaries of the APC was cancelled. So if it can happen to them, if we're not very, very careful, it can happen to us. But hey, maybe people like His Excellency and those that are driving the coalition, maybe what an elderly man can see standing, maybe truthfully, what an elderly man can see sitting, maybe truthfully, young people cannot see it even if they climb the tallest Iroko tree. So let's see how it goes. By tomorrow, this particular president will be 2 years in office. We'll do the analysis as we know how to do it. I've done a lot of work on myself. I've done a lot of work as the leader of a new way of doing things called the alternative, which is, are we going to continue this kind of mess and be happy with ourselves? Okay, when we get to the bridge, we'll see it. 2 years is gone. We have 1 more year of serious getting our act together, and then we'll go and do the election. May the best man win.
Serious getting of an act together. That's actually what the PDP is. That's the new season that they're in. But we know that Bukola Saraki, there's a Bukola Saraki Reconciliation Committee set up to address the many internal disputes within the party. Do you believe that he has the capacity to bring around some kind of some semblance of peace, especially between this Wike issue, the national chairmanship issue? We also know that there was the settling of a zoning committee at the NEC recently. What do you make of those developments?
I trust Bukola Saraki, former Senate President. I trust him very much to the extent that he understands the issues. What I hope he will be able to do is the courage of telling them this is the way and not insisting that there are plenty noise will take him off what he can clearly see is the risk. And if he is able to stand firm and let them understand this is the way and they can be brave enough to accept the consequences of action, then he will succeed. If they insist that anybody that offers them the right way or the better interpretation of things, they're going to be screaming and shouting and have their rabble-rousers just insisting that what they wish is the fact. Good luck to us. Good luck. But I think that last one, we did not have a 99 NEC. Essentially, we had a stakeholder meeting. By the time they now do the right thing and put the notice properly, then we will have the 99 NEC. Because I tell you this, no court in Nigeria will accept that NEC was a NEC. And they themselves know it couldn't have been a NEC. The minimum standard of having a NEC is that the right people must give you notice. And the Supreme Court cannot tell you this is where it is. And then you say some people are sitting there in Sokoto, sitting there in Maduguri, sitting there in Zamfara. It won't make any difference. The strength of 1 million people is not up to the actual pronouncement of the courts. And that's why we created the court system in the world. It is to make sure that we go somewhere where reasonable people look at everything and tell us this is the position. We can never be too angry or too arrogant to refuse what the judgment of the Supreme Court is. And if they want to do that, good luck to them.
Now, Mr. Sowunmi, still on the Saraki Reconciliation panel, what potential strategies and approaches do you expect the panel to employ, to address the internal conflicts and, of course, promote party unity?
Well, I think that in the first instance, let us even step over who is secretary. Once we step over that one, then the next thing is that we're now going to go and sit down and determine what is the basis of that convention, so that we can just say enough. We have had enough of the post-2023 presidential issues. And then if we are smart, we can put together a fit-for-purpose NWC that is not going to be accused of everything, including compromising. And then when we do that, if we can give ourselves a little bit of energy, he can then spend some energy begging people to forgive themselves. We can be very firm to expel the ones that are neither here nor there. If you want to be PDP, be PDP. If you want to be coalition, leave our party. Stop discussing PDP and discussing coalition at the same time. But if we are not able to do that, then we are going to go back. Everybody must now ask, what is the best political decision for me as an individual? Before you now start saying, what is the best political decision for the whole? Because at the end of the day, we all came into this party as individuals. We came in one by one. And so people will leave one by one. Can't you see what's happening to us? Governors are removing themselves from the party wholesale. Some others are going up and down doing all sorts of forum shopping for platform. Why is the PDP not an attractive platform? Ordinarily, it should be an attractive platform, but we will not do what is required. We'll be pretending. Imagine the embarrassment we have with the closing of our secretariat. Yes, thank you, Mr. President, for telling them to go and open it. But really and truly, should we even be in that mess? Should we be in that mess? And then, okay, if they apply the law, the person that wants to apply the law now is guilty of applying the law. Don't we sometimes have a situation with our embassies in other countries? Or is there anywhere in the world that people will be expected to just be occupying space without paying? And they even had a notice since March. Since March. And now they need 2 weeks. No, come on. I think that for the PDP, Bukola has a lot of work to do. I wish him well. He's my brother. I can always go to him. I can always offer him advice. But I want to let him know his work is damn cut out for him, because he's not dealing only with the unreasonable leaders. He's dealing with the noisy, garrulous, rabble-rousers that they call members, who will not even trust their leaders enough to allow their leaders to take decisions for them. The leaders will take a decision, they won't agree. They will start insisting that their very limited understanding of what the issues are is the correct position. They will insist that Wike is the problem in 2017. Is the problem in 2019? Is the problem in 2023? Is the problem now in 2025? Does that even make sense? Does it even make sense? Everybody will be accusing one person instead of them sitting down and just solving the problem where they are. Well, I'm sure that the man who said, bring the broom, sweep them clean, was quite prophetic. And thank goodness God, the beauty of democracy is that a day of election will be announced. And then everybody will bring their best stance forward. And then we'll see who will win.
Well, we're just going to have to leave it there.
The fact that you lost does not mean that democracy failed, though. You only lost.
Well, okay. Segun Sowunmi, great to have you on the program today. Thank you so much for joining us for this discussion.